Now, the rule of thumb, anybody out there taking notes, you probably should write this down, is you want to purchase land around 20 to 25% of what the new construction homes are selling. So if you have a 4,000 square foot home selling for $1 million, you want to find land around 200 to $250,000. If you can find that, then you'll be able to make a nice, pretty penny off that deal.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest is a real estate investor investing in both Miamis and the greater DFW area, and is currently in the process of creating a real estate fund. I'm a big fan. Please welcome Eric Crutchfield. Eric, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Dylan. I'm excited for what we're going to talk about.
I've been following you for a while. I mentioned to you before hopping onto the podcast here. I said we must have the marketing dialed in because we're really coming across some great people. I always like to start off at the top of the show by asking folks how they got into the real estate space.
Well, I was definitely on the wrong track growing up. You know, wasn't the best, brightest student, didn't go to college, wasn't educated, actually landed myself in prison for 7.5 years. And I read a bunch of self-development books while I was in there. And, the self-development books kept saying that real estate's made the most millionaires out of any other asset class. So, 80% of millionaires were in real estate as somehow. So I was like, hey, let me get on the good odds, the good side. And so that's what I did. I would say for the next 5 years, I was in prison about 7.5 years. 5 years straight, all I did was read real estate books, development books, and business books. And I got out, got into my first flip. I was probably out of prison like 3 or 4 months. Ended up being a successful flip, made $53,000 to my pocket.
Yeah.
And then, what do I do with that? I'm like, hey, let's do it again. So what I do, I invested it, found another one, did another one. Well, I was new to the flipping world, and I guess this wasn't the best flip to buy, but it was the best new construction to buy. So I actually turned it into a new construction and figured that out, brought in a partner. We built that up. It actually was a duplex here in Dallas, Texas. And then when that thing was like half built, I bought the land next to me and I built another duplex. And then I ended up buying the other land, and I had 6 units going up, 3 duplexes. I'd never built anything in my life. I was out of prison like a year. Well, next thing you know, I got the deal done. I made $500,000 to my pocket. And that's after the split with my partner.
I want to ask you about figuring things out on the fly. I mean, we're talking about getting into and really diving headfirst into the real estate space. Did you have any kind of construction background or anything to lean on when you were going through this?
No, I had zero. I was a personal trainer, had nothing. I didn't know how to swing a hammer, barely fit a screwdriver in the screw.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
I mean, it was bad, and I still don't know how to do it, honestly.
Walk me through the process. I mean, I want to ask you first about that first deal where you made a good rip on that first deal. What year was it? How'd you find the deal? On market, off market? Did you have partners? Walk me through that first deal.
Yeah, I got out of prison late 2018, so early 2019. Got that first flip within 3 or 4 months, sold it, within 6 months or something like that. And then I would say I purchased my second flip, which turned into a new construction, maybe late 2019, early 2020, so right near COVID.
That's the time to do it, right?
So yeah, and yeah, so 2020.
I think a lot of folks on this podcast have really shown to me and demonstrated that some of the strategies that have worked in the past don't necessarily work in every market condition. So those first couple flips, you did great. Were the next couple in single family? Were you looking in multifamily? How did the business scale from those first couple?
So it was that first flip. That's the only flip I did, and then the second flip turned into a new construction, which is actually was a duplex. It was a duplex was my very first build. My second flip turned into a duplex. So I built this duplex. It was a 4-story with a rooftop. We're overlooking downtown Dallas. And I didn't even finish it completely before I bought the land next to me and the land next to me. And I had those 6 units going up. They're really like Miami modern, all had rooftops, all overlooking downtown Dallas. They're really cool. They're really popular in East Dallas. And yeah, that's what I got into. And I sold that for the $500,000. And I'm like, man, this is crazy. Each one that I've sold, I was making like 75 to like $125,000 on it. And I was just like, this is crazy. It's the most legal money I've ever made in my life. And so, just like that first flip, I made the 53,000. I'm like, all right, let's do it again. I'm ready because I didn't have any direction. I was lost still. I was, one of the biggest things was I was sitting in prison. I was like, man, I was kind of scared to get out because I was like, I don't want to come back.
Right.
What am I going to do? I don't have any skills. I don't know what to do. So it's great that, that second flip that I bought turned into new construction because I love real estate development and I love new construction. I hate flipping though. Flipping wasn't what I really like to do, but I do like to, I'm more of a visionary type of guy. So when I see like raw land and then I start looking at the neighborhood, I you create it into my mind. So I really like that process of creating it in my mind and then building it out and actually selling it to an end user. So I really enjoy that. But yeah, so I made that money. We went from 53 to basically 500 with those. And then I'm like, hey, I got to buy more. I got to buy more. So I didn't spend a single penny for 2.5 years. Not nothing. I didn't, now I got crazy car collection. I got crazy jewelry collection, all kinds of stupid stuff, right? But for 2.5 years out of prison, I didn't spend a single penny. I was shopping at Ross. I was eating basic food, cheap food. I mean, everything. Every single dollar that I had, I reinvested it into the pipeline, into land, so I can build more homes. That's all I did for 2.5 years straight. My business partner, he went off and bought a Bentley and a Rolex and wasting his money here and there. I was singular focused, tunnel vision. I was like, I'm building out my pipeline. This is my career. I'm going to make millions and millions and millions of dollars off of this. There's no plan B. There's no turning back.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
I want to ask you and pivot a bit here, Eric, and talk about land deals. So I, by trade, am a wholesaler. That's really how I learned the craft. And I started to notice, specifically in DFW, a lot of the buyers that I was working with over the last year had more of a difficult time doing flips.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Because they were realizing like, hey, some of these new builds are only however many $10,000 more expensive than these flips. If someone is going to purchase a home, big investment for them, they're going to go with some of this new construction plus some of the incentivized rates that they can get with some builders. So I had to pivot my business as a wholesaler and start looking at like infill lots, raw land. Now, because I'm in the land mindset, I'm like, okay, well, I don't really know about building out subdivisions, but what if I could find some raw land that maybe could be rezoned for residential use? That's how I fell into the land deals. What was it about land that really attracted you?
You know, I just like I said, I didn't know what to do, and once I saw the type of profits that were being able to be made for myself from the work that I was doing, I was just like, "Man, this is awesome." I don't do really big land deals. My basic bread and butter is buying in established neighborhoods already, bulldozing the home and building a new beautiful home. So a lot of gentrified neighborhoods and a lot of established neighborhoods. Like, now I build in only the prestigious areas. In Dallas, it's Highland Park. That's the most prestigious neighborhood in all of Dallas, anywhere there is. There's no land. If you're getting 2 acres, you're paying, 15 million for it, right? So, but it's a lot of older people. So unfortunately, there's a lot of deaths, there's a lot of divorces, there's a lot of people moving. So that's how I come across the land, and then I bulldoze them. I build a nice, big, beautiful home based off the price per square foot. That's where all my profit is. So that's kind of my bread and butter and how I got into it.
I want to
But
ask you
yeah,
about that strategy. Maybe give away some of the gold, but don't give away the whole gold bar. So when we're talking about looking at bulldozing, really building new structures on existing, you're having to find, I'm imagining, heavily distressed areas and then also potentially multiple distressed homes side by side and purchase them together. Or tell me a little bit about, again, without giving away the whole gold bar, a little bit about the strategy that you use to find some of these deals.
yeah. So, when you're first coming up, obviously you can't afford the most prestigious neighborhoods. Like I was saying, Highland Park, minimum lot value is $2 million. That's minimum lot value. Like you said, yeah, some of the stressed neighborhoods, you can buy them a little cheaper. Some of the gentrifying areas, you can get them a little cheaper because they're a little bit more sketchy neighborhoods. They're not as safe yet. They're still on the come up. So that's kind of where you can make your money as a beginner. Now, the rule of thumb, anybody out there taking notes, you probably should write this down, is you want to purchase land around 20 to 25% of what the new construction homes are selling. So if you have a 4,000 square foot home selling for $1 million, you want to find land around 200 to $250,000. If you can find that, then you'll be able to make a nice, pretty penny off that deal.
I want to pivot a bit here, Eric, and ask you about getting into the social media and marketing yourself. Was that something that you always had the vision for, or were you having a bunch of people coming up to you saying, "Man, you should put this online. You should really put this out there," when they saw the success that you were having?
That's exactly right. It grew organically. Never in a million years would I think that I'd be doing podcasts and teaching. I never thought I'd be teaching. I didn't never in prison, I had my whole life, mapped out, the vision board and all the stuff, and it was never teacher, ever. Not one thing on there. Real estate was on there, real estate investor, real estate developer, all that good stuff. One of my favorite books is by Donald Trump, The Art of the Deal. It actually got my mind running about, like, how wealthy you can get off development. So, yeah, I had all my goals and everything for my life out, and never was a teacher. So that organically grew just because of the success that I had achieved from prison, within the first like 3 years, you know?
Yeah.
I started having money. I started building my own personal house. I started getting the McLarens and the nice cars. And
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I had my Rolex watch and whatever it was. And, society looks up to those things. I don't know why, but yeah. So that's when they started gravitating towards me and saying, "Hey, man, how'd you do it? You were just in prison for 7 years. Like, what in the world? Tell me your secrets. What? Teach me. How do I do it?" So, like, it just kept happening over and over and over. So, I sat down. I was like, "Man, I'm tired of these people asking me. I want to teach people." So I said, "Hey, I'm going to host a mastermind class next month." And this was in December, I think, of like 2023. And I hosted that first mastermind class in January of 2024. And I told my fiance, I was like, if I sell 10 tickets, I'll be, happy. They're $1,500 a piece to come to this class. I teach you everything about what I do. And I sold 40 tickets like that,
This
$60,000.
is another revenue stream that worked.
Yeah.
There's
And
proof
I
of
was like,
concept.
holy shit. Okay. Me as a developer, right? A builder, I got to buy the land, design it, build it, sell it. This is like a 10 to 12-month process, depending on the size and complexity of the homes. Well, I host this class in January and I make 60,000 in like a blink of an eye. I'm like, okay, well, this is kind of cool. So that's when I got more into the social media and the info product business, which I'm still a developer every single day in and day out. Right now, I have $80 million in the pipeline. My goal is to have 150 million in the pipeline by December of this year. So we got a few more months, which I'll probably get very close. And that's my day to day. That's where I make probably 90% of my money. But it is nice to get, the quick money like that too. So
I want to
I
ask.
like to work also. I don't like to have downtime. I like to be constantly working and working and busy. I remember sitting in prison, man. I was sitting there and for fucking days and days, thousands of days, just staring at the walls with nothing to do. And I was like, God, when I get out, I want to be so busy. I don't have time to think. And that's exactly what I did to myself.
I want to ask you about Miami, pivoting a bit here, Eric, because I live in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, lived in Dallas for a year, was in San Antonio for 5 years before then. But I'm going back and forth between Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, Southern
Love it.
Florida in general. And I tell people this, it's like you can't even picture a nicer place. I'm like, this
It's
is
the
as good
best.
as it gets. I mean, I think
It's
there's
the
other
best.
areas. You agree
I've
with me,
been,
right?
yeah, I've been all over the world and it doesn't get better than South Florida.
I think there's just something about it. You've got so many different people from coming all over. I've heard also this generalization that people from the West Coast go to the West Coast of Florida, people from the East Coast go to the East Coast of Florida. I don't know how true that is. I've heard people talk to me about Tampa. I've heard people talk to me about Orlando, but I know this when I was in downtown Fort Lauderdale earlier this year, walking around. It was freezing cold on the ranch that I was living at in Denton, Texas. But in Fort Lauderdale, it was a Tuesday. Everyone was out. You had supercars on the street downtown Fort Lauderdale by the beach. And you're able to talk with an older gentleman who had built and sold a company. You're chopping it up with him. You're then seeing so many young real estate people who are truly hustling. And it's all over the map. People from all different parts of the country seem to be concentrated down there hustling.
Yeah, no better place in the world than South Florida. You could be sitting there thinking you're doing well in your supercar, and the next, hypercar is about to pull up that's $5 million Bugatti. And then you think you're doing well, and then the $100 million yacht is about to drive by. And it's nonstop. This is every day, all day. You think you're fit. and then somebody just walks out of the grocery store that's just like 0% body fat. You're just like, oh man, I got to get back to work. And so that's what I love about it, man. It's just super motivating. Everybody's there to inspire, and really everybody encourages you here. Sometimes here in Dallas, like you film yourself like this, and people start looking at you like sideways. They're
Yeah.
like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? You do that in Miami,
They're
and they'll
joining you.
probably like help you. They'll bring out their tripod and be like, here, use this. Put this on here. Everybody's got tripods. Everybody's filming. Everybody's having fun, enjoying their life. So I really like it. I have a lot of assets here in Dallas. Own about 95 rentals, and I think we got 17 new construction projects going up right now. And so I also have projects going up in Miami as well. So I say in the next 2 to 3 years, because I have a son that's a sophomore in Highland Park High School. So once he graduates, my goal is to be fully transitioned to Miami full time and then
Yeah.
Dallas part time. So right now I'm Dallas full time and Miami part time, but I want to flip flop it here in about 2 years. So
Well, Eric, we're coming up on time here. Congrats on all the success and to your continued success. I know you've got a fund that you're in the process of creating. Where can folks go if maybe they have a deal that they'd like you to take a look at, or if they'd like to reach out to you, get in contact with you?
yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram, Eric Epic 23. Also, YouTube is the same handle, Eric Epic 23. I teach real estate development. I help people get into real estate basically from A to Z. I have rentals, I have wholesale deals, made $200,000. I know a lot about real estate. So if anybody's interested, go ahead and send me a DM, or yeah, check me out. A bunch of free content on YouTube if you just want to learn real estate development. But if you have any questions, let me know. I'm here for you.
Eric, thank you for coming on the show here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It was a great talk. I wish it was longer.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.